My story actually starts on a Saturday night with a movie and popcorn. My goodness, if you've ever bitten into an unpopped kernel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was Saturday night. I had to do something, pacify it to the next day, and I did. The next morning, my pain was very subsided. I was able to then not rapidly schedule an appointment with my then dentist. I was able to take some time. So I did. I scheduled an appointment, but this really gave me an opportunity to research some possible outcomes, maybe some things that the dentist might suggest that I do, some procedures, and I really wanted to be well informed. Well, on the day of my appointment, the dentist said I needed to have a root canal. And I said, can we explore some other options? Can we talk about some alternatives? And the dentist said, no, you need a root canal. I said, I don't want a root canal. I understand that leaving that nerve there in the body could potentially cause illness. It's a dead nerve. I really don't want to go through that procedure, so can we please discuss some alternatives? And the response was borderline sarcasm, ridicule. I, needless to say, did not go forward with anything. And I started my quest to look for a holistic dentist. I actually found a feed from one of my friends on social media who had posted about a holistic dentist, and it was Natural Dentistry. I about jumped through the screen. I called her right away. I asked her about her experience. It was absolutely amazing. And I called Natural Dentistry. The welcoming voice on that end of the phone when I called was completely different, something I hadn't experienced. During that call, I was wanting to make sure that they were going to be open to talking about options and alternatives, and they were so open to that. Not only were they open to that, but they offered education and helped me understand that advocating for myself was the greatest thing that I could have done. And that support was amazing. We scheduled the appointment, and I do want to say this, they're 2 hours away from me. And that appointment that they scheduled was very robust. It was intended to really satisfy the amount of time that it took for me to drive out there. And they did work on me that day. And I was really happy about that they took that into consideration, that it wasn't just an appointment that I would have an x-ray done and then come back. And it was really a very important, detailed, robust appointment. So that was really, really great on their end. My experience with them, goodness, right from the get-go, from that first call, for example, they directed me to their website where they actually have videos and information and education. So here I am trying to prep for my other dentist appointment, right, for possible outcomes. And then here's this dentist actually providing me with those tools that is on their website already. So that was great. We talked a little bit about the options of my tooth, as well as maybe changing out my amalgams, those gray fillings that we have in our mouth. And a lot of information was given to me on that. And that first appointment that I had there was a few hours long because we did some work. We developed a treatment plan, and it was just a great start of a relationship with them. So one of the appointments ended up actually being an extraction of that famous popcorn tooth. Wow, I have to say that I've had a tooth pulled in the past, and that experience was nothing compared to the experience at Natural Dentistry. What happened is that my tooth was actually had to be pulled out in pieces. It wasn't just a clean extraction, it was in pieces. And before they were done, they took an x-ray of my mouth. I couldn't believe it. I said, why are you taking an x-ray? And they said, well, in general dentistry, you are allowed, or they are allowed, to leave a piece or a fragment of your broken tooth inside of your mouth. I was floored. So in the x-ray, there was a little tiny bit of tooth left in my mouth. We went back to the chair, they pulled it out, took another x-ray to make sure that it was completely extracted, that there was nothing left. And they took everything out. I mean, it was amazing. There's nothing there. And I felt so good. And then, of course, I'm appalled, right, that people are walking around with possibly little bits of tooth in their mouth. But it was really eye-opening that they take that extra step to ensure that they do a great job for you, that this isn't just a let's pull the tooth and move on to the next patient. This is whole person care, right? This is taking care of us as a patient, not just for today, but looking in the future of any potential things that may happen if they don't do a great job today. So it was really, really awesome. They actually did another procedure. They actually drew blood. I accepted to do this procedure, and they took the blood and they coagulated it. What happened is that there's little strips of blood, and they packed it into my mouth to assist in the healing process. That made it so that I wouldn't have any dry socket, and that my healing would be a healthy healing and just in a healthier way, knowing that my own body was facilitating and helping me heal. So it was really fantastic. I had never experienced that, and it was just nice to know that they really go out of their way to offer alternatives and better things for you than just go in, have the tooth pulled, and walk out, and it's the next patient. It was really extra care. Really great care. How the mouth is related to your body and how your mouth affects your health was really an outstanding educational piece. One of the things that I wanted to talk to them about was removing the amalgams in my mouth, and that's the gray fillings that we tend to have. The amalgam actually releases fumes in your mouth when you are drinking something hot or drinking something cold, and I didn't know that. So what potentially can happen over time in your body by having the amalgam in your mouth could be anything, really. So they have a list of health conditions that might be impacted, and it was really neat to see how that worked. So it was really important to me after learning that to remove the amalgams from my mouth. That procedure in itself was amazing. I mean, they should do a documentary because it was so amazing what they did. So they protected me during the process, and how they did that is they provided me with oxygen. They covered my eyes. They covered me. They also protected themselves. I mean, think about this. This is just removing that gray filling in your mouth, and they're taking such precautions to ensure that during this process I am safe and they themselves are safe. They protected themselves by wearing PPEs and ensuring also that when the amalgam was removed, that it was disposed of not only in a very protective way to not contaminate our water systems, but to also ensure that it's done the correct way and not just thrown in the garbage or down the drain. I feel so good that I replaced both of them, and I am so happy because I just feel like I did that for my health, not just now, but my health 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now. So this was an important step for me in my health journey to take care of myself. I absolutely think that natural dentistry is the place to go for anybody who is wanting to explore new options within dentistry, to experience a different type of care. You know, we tend to refer to what we know to be as traditional, right? So maybe traditional dentistry for most people is their typical dentistry experience. I feel that going to a holistic dentist should be the traditional way. Going to a holistic dentist should be the only way that we receive treatment in our mouth and our whole body, right? So it's not just about a mouth, it's whole person care, and natural dentistry does that. They really take the time to ensure that their patients understand what they're doing and how their mouth affects their entire body, and They're looking out for everything. So they should be the tradition. They should be the only way to go. They should be the standard across the board. And they should have offices. Hear me? They should have offices everywhere, like throughout the entire state of Florida. I mentioned that they're 2 hours away, but I heard that people go from all over where they're actually booking hotels and staying because they are so good. I mean, think about that they're so well versed in everything that they do that people are traveling from all over to take care from them. So kudos to them. Continue. I'm there. I'm driving those 2 hours. It was my absolute pleasure to share my experience. So continued success to everybody there. You all do a great job.